Are you being manipulated? What are the hidden tactics and tricks that influencers use that they don't want you to know? Hey, Anthony here, and in this video today, what we're going to do is we're going to flip influence on its head. Instead of me sharing with you some tips on how you can be more persuasive, I'm going to reveal to you a few ways to let you identify when you might be being controlled by others. These are the psychological tactics that influencers and marketers use every single day. Now, one thing that I want you to keep in mind as we go through this video is I don't want you to think that because I've told you these things that all of a sudden you're going to become immune to them. That's not going to be the case. But what it will do by bringing awareness around these techniques, hopefully what it's going to do is it's going to lessen its effects on you. So let's start with a really big one, and that is reciprocity. Really hard to say, and I got it right on the first take. How good is that? Now, have you ever received a free sample or a small gift and then you've suddenly felt this obligation inside to buy something? Or maybe someone has done something for you and then you feel the need to help them back, the old classic of I owe you one. Well, that is reciprocity in action. When someone does something for us, we naturally feel an obligation to return that favor. It's human nature. But marketers and influencers, they exploit this by giving you something small with the expectation that you'll give something back that normally is much bigger. Now, this may sound a little far-fetched, but I have seen this many times. I want you to imagine this, that you get a free goodie bag at a conference or some event that you're at. Later, you find yourself signing up for a really pricey service you've kind of signed up to just because you feel grateful for the goodie bag. It sounds far-fetched, but it happens, and it happens a lot. Next up is commitment and consistency. Once we commit to something, especially if we do it publicly, we are more likely to follow through, even if the original incentive or that original reasoning disappears. Now, influencer marketers, they know this very well, and they will get you to make a small commitment, like signing up for a newsletter or maybe a free trial. Or it could be in a conversation that you just agree to something small. Now, once you've made that initial commitment, what can then happen is you then get reeled into making a bigger commitment. Now, this concept, it was really famously demonstrated in 1966. There was a study by Friedman and Fraser, and it was a safe driving sign experiment where residents, they were asked to display a small sign or sign a petition. And then a couple of weeks later, they were then asked to place a very large and unsightly sign up in their yards. Now, remarkably, those who initially agreed to the small request were significantly more likely to agree to the larger request of having the sign put up into their front yard or their garden. Now, this is a classic example of the whole foot in the door technique, and it shows you how a small commitment can lead to a much larger one, highlighting the power of the consistency in our decisions. I mean, think about it. You sign up for a free trial. You then, so maybe like a Netflix or something like that. You then get an email saying that for just $10 a month, you can continue. And you think to yourself, well, I've already started, so I might as well keep going. And boom, you are hooked. Now, before we move off of this particular topic of consistency, I really want to double down on your awareness, especially when it comes to this being used in a conversational way. It really flies under the radar, and it's a very powerful way to get you to agree to do things. It is a tool that I will use when I am coaching and presenting, but I'm using it to help people. But there are people out there that are using this for reasons that are not quite so moral. So let's now talk about social proof. We are more likely to do something if we see other people doing it. This is why you see phrases like bestseller or most popular plastered everywhere on different websites and on advertising billboards. What it does is it creates a false sense of popularity or acceptance around a product, an idea, or a behavior. Now, in a conversation, you will hear people saying things like, I've just spat on my arm, but in a conversation, you'll hear people saying things like, oh, everyone's doing it, or everyone's talking about it, or I've just joined the wait list. We are hardwired as part of our unconscious internal programming to follow the group or the crowd because it's safer that way, apparently. Picture this. You are shopping on Amazon for a new squeegee. You see a few of them, but one of them has got bestseller written on it. Now you think, oh, everyone else is buying this one here, it must be good. So then click, click, and all of a sudden it is added to your cart without a second thought. Authority is another really powerful tactic that is used in influence and persuasion. We tend to obey authority figures, even if we have doubts about the actions that are required. Someone can project their authority through maybe their appearance, the language that they use, their position or role maybe within a company, or even by using different symbols and branding. If you've ever found yourself buying something because a doctor recommended it, even though you didn't fully trust the product, that is authority at play. Now, a real-world example of this can be seen in advertising, where actors dressed up as doctors were used to promote health products. For instance, and this wasn't really a health product, but for instance, in the 1950s, tobacco companies used doctors in their ads to endorse cigarettes, claiming that they were safe and even beneficial. Now, despite this mounting evidence over the years of health risks that were associated with smoking, many people still trusted these advertisements because they featured these authoritative figures. This shows you how just the mere appearance of authority can significantly influence your decisions, your choices, and your actions. A person in a lab coat says, "This product is scientifically proven." You think, well, they must know what they're talking about because they're wearing a white coat. And just like that, you've been convinced. Finally, let's look at likability. We are more likely to be influenced by people that we like or that we find attractive. This is why influencers often try they charm us or they build rapport before making a request. They know that if you like them, then you are more likely to buy into what they're selling, suggesting, or the action that they're asking you to take. I want you to imagine this scenario. Let's say that there is a popular fitness influencer that you like. They're really positive, so relatable, always giving out tips on the internet. Oh, do some press ups, just do it. And one day they share a new workout challenge on their social media channel, asking followers to join them for 30 days of daily exercise. Now, because you like this influencer, you decide to join the challenge, even though it means that you've got to commit to a strenuous routine, you probably don't have the time, and this is something that you wouldn't normally consider otherwise, but because you like the person, you decide to invest into this 30-day program. So you start waking up early, you start pushing through tough workouts, and you start even altering your diet. And this is all done because you like and you trust this influencer. This just shows you how powerful likability can be. When someone we like encourages us to take action, we are more than willing to step out of our comfort zones and commit to things that maybe we wouldn't normally do. Now, in this case, you might be thinking, well, that's fine. They've helped me get back my beach body back. But likability, it's got a dark side. Take the case of Jim Jones. Now, Jim Jones, he was the charismatic leader of the People's Temple back in the 1970s. And Jim Jones used his charm and persuasive skills to build a following of devoted members. He managed to create this image of himself as this caring leader who promised all of his followers a much better life. Now, because they liked and trusted him so much, his followers were willing to do anything that he asked. They even relocated to this remote community. And tragically, this trust and this admiration for Jim Jones, it led to one of the most horrific events in history. So if you didn't know, in 1978, over 900 people died in a mass suicide murder that was all orchestrated by Jim Jones. This horrific event, it really underscores how likability and trust in a charismatic leader can lead people to take extreme actions that are going to go massively against their own interests. So look, whether it's a fitness challenge or a more sinister scenario like I've just mentioned, the power of likability can have a profound effect on our behavior. It's really important to be aware of this influence and critically evaluate why we are taking certain actions. Are we doing it because we truly believe in it, or because someone that we like suggested it? So all this being said, how can we protect ourselves from these manipulative tactics or these influence tactics? First thing, awareness is that first step. By recognizing when someone is trying to use these techniques on you, just take a moment to question your decisions. Are you buying something because you really want it, or because you feel obligated? Are you committing to something because it aligns with your goals, or because you've been subtly pushed? So a quick recap: reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, authority, and liking. These are all powerful tools, but they can be used against you. So stay aware, stay informed, and don't let anyone control you without your permission. Right, that being said, if you have enjoyed this video, then and you found it helpful, then please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Because let's face it, I'm so likable. See you in the next video.